Hey guys, Angie here with Forever Young Homestead. If you're new here, I am an off-grid homesteader and I am just getting ready to prep to make a trip down to West Virginia. I live in Vermont. Our homestead is for sale, and no, we have not sold our homestead yet. It is still on the market, so we're looking for the right buyer. And I know it's going to be a very limited buyer pool. We're in the mountains. It's very quiet, 52 acres of land, peace and quiet, but we do live off grid. We have a artesian well. Everything's under 10 years old, newer house, contemporary style. And I know it's just going to be the right buyer for this type of house. Now, off-grid properties have sold in our area, not directly in this town, but a couple towns over, they do sell. It just takes longer than your typical house. And I know that, but I've got some different marketing things I'm going to try when we come back from our trip. So I'm just going to be optimistic, and yes, we will sell our house. It may not be on the timeline that we originally wanted, so it can change what we wanted to do in West Virginia originally. We may have to pivot, but that's the way it goes. You know, challenges are faced your way. You got to learn how to adapt, and it's not always easy. When your house is on the market, it's not easy. So we are going to keep at it and go from there, right, Waffles? What are you doing? And Waffles will be turning 3 years old. He is a 4th of July pug, right? He's going to go with us to West Virginia. He went with us on our last trip. He travels really well, and the kids are coming along as well, which I'm really excited. The last time they went down was during their winter break, so they haven't seen West Virginia in the summer or spring. So it's another opportunity for them to see West Virginia in another season, which is always fun. We're going down just for a couple of days. We'll visit with friends, and I'll get some footage of that. You guys seem to really like it when I film West Virginia, and it's fun. So it's like 8:30 at night and it's still light out. But I'm going to get the car packed because I like to leave very early. It takes us about 12 to 14 hours to get to West Virginia, depending on traffic, how many stops. But I've made this trip several times, so I know the way. Yes, I have GPS, but it's like autopilot for me. And I really like going there. I never thought I would ever end up in West Virginia, but it is a lot like Vermont in terms of landscape. The roads are more windy though. My goodness, some of those turns are very sharp. And I drive like a little granny on those corners. I'm not used to driving on them. I mean, I'm used to the mountains, obviously, but they have some sharp corners. And I really like the hospitality of the people down there. People are just so friendly, laid back, and I just love their culture. So we are more than excited, more than willing to get down there. But first, step one is to sell our homestead. That is our first step. So we're still working on that, but we figured let's take a trip down, visit with friends, and it'll just be a couple of days. But I'm excited. It's a mini vacation for us. I'm very grateful we have somebody watching the homestead because we have goats, we have chickens. We have our husky dog that they're going to look after because she does not travel well, so we leave her here with a pet sitter. But I'm going to start packing the car, and I will update this video when we get closer to West Virginia. So we're in West Virginia, and look what we saw. Mama with 2 fawns. And then there's a couple deer here. I had to stop by the side of the road. But they're so cute. Now we have deer in Vermont, but they have a lot more down here. The deer back in Vermont are a lot bigger, but they have more deer down here. So, isn't that cute? Isn't that precious? This is why I love West Virginia. They have the most beautiful wildlife. Waffles. Waffles, what are you doing? like 90 something degrees out, and we just got here. This is such a cute little farmhouse. Lots of deer across the way, and there's some cows down the road. We've been to this area before, but I've never been down this particular road. I've been down the road where this is located. But this is such a cute little farmhouse. Oh, looks like there's a bird's nest up there too. That's cute. So this is West Virginia, guys. It does remind me a lot of Vermont, but what I love the land out here. It is just absolutely beautiful. And we cannot wait to move down here just for more simple life. Oh, there's a deer. There's another one. There's a mama and baby out earlier. There's so many deer out here. Now, we have deer in Vermont, but not like that. Waffles! We also went to Charles Fork Lake. If you haven't been there, there is a West Virginia Almost Heaven swing that is at this location, and it is absolutely beautiful. So we took the kids here, and it is so peaceful here. There's hardly anybody here, but I absolutely love going to this lake. It is just breathtaking. We have lakes like this at home, but we don't have the Almost Heaven swing, which was an added bonus for us. The first property we looked at has 66 acres to it, and it was located on a road that my husband and I have looked at land previously, except the other properties that we've looked at was higher up on this road. This was down towards the bottom. This is why I stress to people, do not buy land sight unseen. It is definitely worth making a trip out there, walking the land, because photographs are one thing, but driving there and seeing the physical condition of the land is absolutely key. And for us, we followed the road all the way to the end, and the GPS said to cross over that. And we quickly learned that was not going to be possible, so we did a 3-point turn and turned around. We just were curious what was at the end of that road, and we quickly found out. Here, the road access was a little dicey, and these are considerations you need to take into place, because if you're looking at building, you sometimes have to get heavy construction trucks in if you're going to pour cement, things like that, getting building materials. So it's not just the land itself. Having adequate access of how you're going to bring materials to a property definitely comes into consideration. And this piece of property was out there. It was further away than I would have liked, but the access was just not that great. So there's 66 acres of land. My car is parked over there. We saw this little camp thing. This is the access. I mean, this would be fine for like an ATV. My Subaru probably could get over here. Oh, it's squishy. That stinks. This is why you go out and look at land yourselves. It's kind of marshland. There's like a cabin hunting thing up there. And this was advertised as it could be recreational ATV hunting camp. But then they list that you could potentially put a homestead here. You could. I just don't know. I'm trying to think of logistics of getting a big truck in if you were to put a homestead over here or a house of some sort. So it's got a little bit of wet marsh on it. Should have brought my boots. Looks like there's some trails up there. This is all wet land. But this is why, part of the reason why I prefer not to buy land sight unseen. And part of this property, there is like a gas or oil thing right down the road, and that comes with the property. There's culverts. They want $100,000 for this. 66 acres. Looks like there might be some ATV trails. So, I'm not sure if it would exactly work. It's very squishy land. I'd be concerned with flooding. Be my concern. But there are some flat points, which is good. And this is another piece of land. It is more developed. So access, I don't know. We'd have to check. But I think they started to clear some of this land, and I'm not sure if they gave up or what the situation is, but we're here. We're in town. We figured, look at this, since the last property was way too wet and we're concerned about flooding. So we'll check this out. With this property, I liked that it was elevated, but it was very close to a very residential area. What I did appreciate was there was some excavation work that was previously done. You can tell that the owner was starting to do a driveway, which was definitely a plus. My husband was, he was checking it out. You could put a house here and you could excavate. Like, he wished that the excavation went back further, which can be done. But what we didn't like was, even though it's set up higher and you can't directly see the residential area, but they are definitely down below. And we have dogs, cats, and livestock, and that is, for us, it's just too close to a residential neighborhood area. There's nothing wrong with that. Just with how we like to live, being off grid, I don't want a lot of neighbors nearby. Not that I don't like people, but for us, for homesteading, we just prefer not to be in a developed area. But I did like this property better than the last. And there was a little trail up top, even further back. So if you go a little bit higher from the excavation, you can go down a path. And I'm pretty sure you could get Starlink up here for internet. It has a pretty clear view. But it did have a nice little path in the back here, which was good. And it did have one more small flat spot in the back. So that definitely was a plus. I wasn't expecting it to level off at the top. I thought it was just all steep piece of property. But this is, again, why I stress to people, just walk the land, because you can get a really good sense if a piece of property is going to work for your specific needs and goals. Unfortunately, with this one, I don't think it would suit our needs, but it was better than the one we looked at before. Thank you for joining me to my trip to West Virginia. I am now back on our homestead in Vermont, and we are still in the process of trying to get our off-grid homestead sold. Vermont is a very tough market right now, lots of price reductions. We've reduced price a couple of times ourselves, and I know off-grid is a very niche thing, but what I've told people that have reached out, we are more than happy to show people or talk to them about off-grid. And I actually have a local photographer coming because when I had the initial photographs taken, the gentleman that did them, he did a fabulous job. But the trees were not all filled out. They were all bare because it was early spring. And she's a local photographer. I saw that she did photography. She doesn't do a lot of real estate, but she's done a lot of like homesteads and farm animals. So I figured, why not get some more exterior photos, maybe some photos of my goats, more of the land. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, real estate in Vermont is not the best right now, and that's what makes me nervous. It's just how it is, but my husband and I are going to keep at it, and I am just hopeful that somebody will love and appreciate this off-grid homestead as much as we have, and we'll just keep at it. So thank you for tuning in. Leave a comment if you wish. If you have questions about off-grid or moving to West Virginia yourselves, let me know. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one.